Welcome back, friends. You are listening to the Juicebox Podcast.
My name's Alex, and I have type 1 diabetes. I was diagnosed with type 1 when I was 11, and I'm 33 now, so 22 years ago. I got diagnosed in like September, October, so around the time that we're recording this. I don't know the exact date, so almost 22 full years.
If this is your first time listening to the Juicebox Podcast and you'd like to hear more, download Apple Podcasts or Spotify, really any audio app at all. Look for the Juicebox Podcast and follow or subscribe. We put out new content every day that you'll enjoy. Want to learn more about your diabetes management? Go to juiceboxpodcast.com up in the menu and look for Bold Beginnings, the Diabetes Pro Tip series, and much more. This podcast is full of collections and series of information that will help you to live better with insulin. While you're listening, please remember that nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan or becoming bold with insulin. The episode you're listening to is sponsored by US Med. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. You can get your diabetes testing supplies the same way we do from US Med. A huge thanks to my longest sponsor, Omnipod. Check out the Omnipod 5 now with my link, omnipod.com/juicebox. You may be eligible for a free starter kit, a free Omnipod 5 starter kit at my link. Go check it out, omnipod.com/juicebox. Terms and conditions apply. Full terms and conditions can be found at omnipod.com/juicebox.
My name's Alex, and I have type 1 diabetes. I was diagnosed with type 1 when I was 11, and I'm 33 now, so 22 years ago. I got diagnosed in like September, October, so around the time that we're recording this. I don't know the exact date, so almost 22 full years.
22 full years. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's ask a question. It's a long time ago. Do you have any recollection of it? Or how does it feel to you in your memory, I guess?
Yeah, so I was like thinking about this, knowing that I was going to record with you. What do I remember? I was diagnosed with scoliosis like a year before. So I'd been going to doctor's appointments and stuff for like the tracking of how my scoliosis was going. And my mom had told me she like made another doctor's appointment with just my primary care. And it didn't seem like out of the ordinary to me because I'd already been recently like having some health issue. So it didn't seem like crazy to go to the doctor. She didn't really let on what she thought I had going on. But she just had said like, oh, we're going to go get some things checked out. And I made you an appointment. So I remember her getting me from school and then going to the doctor and then being diagnosed. Like we had gone school shopping, start of school, and I had lost a lot of weight. I was a chubbier kid. So the fact that I was like, school shopping was like easy. I felt like, oh, wow, I'm finally like leaning out like they tell you kids are going to do, they'll grow taller and lean out. That obviously I was wasting away, not leaning out. So yeah, we had gone school shopping and she had noticed that I'd lost a lot of weight. And then we had only one bathroom in our house at the time. And my room was upstairs and it was downstairs. And she had noticed one night that I kept going up and down the stairs and going to the bathroom. And then like going to the bathroom, going to the kitchen, drinking a ton of water, and then going back to bed. And then repeating the cycle like every, 2 to 4 hours. So she was like, that's not normal. Yeah. She was in school to be a nurse at the time. I probably prerequisites. And she was actually like, she told me after the fact, like not, like maybe when I was 20 or something, that she was like, yeah, I just thought you had diabetes with how much you were going to the bathroom. And that's just not normal.
Wow. She picked it up pretty quickly.
Yeah. She's really smart and attentive to like stuff like that.
Nice. When did she tell you? Like, did she tell you on the ride?
No. Not until after I was like, they're like, oh, you're going to go home, pack your bag. You're going to go to the hospital.
Oh, and your mom was like, that's what I thought.
No. My mom, though she's smart and attentive, she kind of lives in denial too. So,
well, she was probably hopeful that there might be a different answer, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure.
And you have siblings or no?
Yeah, I'm one of four. Oh. I have an older brother, an older sister, and then a younger brother.
Okay.
And so we're kind of spread out. My older brother's 7 years older than me, and then my older sister's 5 years older than me. And then my younger brother is 8 years younger than me.
Sounds like your mom started to raise some kids and then decided she wanted to be a nurse.
Well, yeah. She did. She also, like, my younger brother is my half brother. Mm-hmm. So my parents got divorced when I was 2. And she was a single mom my whole life until she got remarried when I was 17.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. 22 years ago, where does that put you with management? What did they start you off with? How do you recall the first days?
Yeah, so this is kind of crazy. I was on NPH and regular. I went to a small hospital, and because it was so small and I was 11, I was on the adult floor because apparently that's the cutoff for peds, which I think that's crazy personally. Mm-hmm. So I was on an adult floor, and my mom and I were both educated very heavily on basically how to manage type 2 by this older lady. She's like, our education was like, she'd take us in the basement. And I remember because it smelled so bad in the basement of that hospital. And then you were like in this room surrounded by like file cabinets with papers everywhere. And it was a weird smell. And you had like the fluorescent lighting. Like I can remember sitting there not knowing anything that she said, but like I remember like the scene of it, you know?
Like you're in the opening act of a horror film.
Yeah. That's what it reminds me of. And I still get that feeling about it, probably because like there's so much going on too.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously they're going to like slide one of those filing cabinets aside. There's going to be a hole in the wall and they're going to feed you to something. That's exactly,
right. Something. Yeah. Something crazy. So we got really weird. Like I remember going home from the hospital and my mom being like, oh, let's go for a walk before we eat to lower your blood sugar type of thing. Mm-hmm. So it was like very heavily based on like diet and exercise along with taking insulin. But a lot of it was like, they wanted you to have a very structured life, which I was 11 and my mom was a single mom and she worked 2 jobs and was in school. So like a structured life was like kind of out of the question, you know, and how you manage like NPH and regular. I just don't know how we would have ever been successful with that, looking back on it.
So did your mom know enough at that point to say, like, that's not what we're going to do? Or did you start off that way?
No, that's how it was. That's what we did.
For how long?
I probably saw an endocrinologist like a year later. My PCP managed. And then when my mom actually got into nursing school, she requested a referral for an endocrinologist.
Okay. So you're small town, the PCP is running the whole thing.
Yeah.
They lean heavy on like diet and exercise, but you need insulin too. Mm-hmm. Are you telling me that wasn't particularly going well? Were your outcomes not great?
No, they were okay. I honeymooned originally, and I could say that my A1C in the beginning was probably between 6 and 7. Mm-hmm. So they were okay with that. Like that was fine. And my mom wasn't worried about the outcome so much, but just as like, maybe we want some of the technology stuff, like let's go see an endo. Okay.
And then how did things change after that?
I became more adolescent, I would say, teenager-ish. Mm-hmm. And my mom became more busy and she kind of thought like, oh, she's responsible. She's got it. And I did not have it. I lied a lot about my management and what I was doing.
Do you have hindsight on that? Do you understand what that little girl was doing?
I do. I do not like to feel like a failure at all. And when I would check my blood sugars, like they were always just like not what they were supposed to be, you know? Mm-hmm. So I just stopped taking my blood sugar. I'd take my insulin and I'd tell her like I was doing what I was doing. And I've listened to like most, if not all of your episodes. So like, you know how people say they just like wrote the numbers in the book? Yeah. And like they just lied. Like that was me. Like I just lied and wrote the numbers in the book. And then we'd go to the endo and they'd be like, well, your A1C is like not reflecting what you wrote down.
That's crazy. Your test must be wrong because my blood sugar is always 86, just so you know.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I wrote some highs in. Like I was kind of smart about it. I was like, well, they're going to know that I'm not always 100. So
can I ask you, I realize that like it's asking a lot to pick through the thoughts of a 12 and 13-year-old girl, you know, as the woman that you became from her. But if you didn't like being like a failure, how come the next step was to just pretend and quit? How come it wasn't to try to figure out how not to be a failure?
So I did. So this probably happened around like 15. I'd say from like between the ages of 12 and 15, I really did try to have good blood sugars. But also, I think too, I was just wanting to be a kid.
Yeah.
And like do like I was a cheerleader and stuff like that. Like I didn't want to have diabetes at all.
Right.
So it was kind of like I didn't want to have it. I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing, but I was supposed to know what I was doing. And then because I checked my blood sugars and they were high, it was just reiterating like, you don't know what you're doing, you're failing. So I kind of had to like, well, I'm getting good grades, I'm involved in sports, like I'm a success here. So I'll just ignore that part.
Yeah, it's the one thing it's not going correctly. Also, if you started off regular in MPH and, you know, then you get to an endo and the endo tells you, I mean, are you carb counting by the time you're 15?
Yeah. Carb counting, we had Lantus. And then for a while I used an insulin pump, but I didn't like it. And it like, I just used it as if it was like a fancy syringe. I didn't use any of the features. Like it just gave me basal and sometimes I bolus.
Right.
I didn't use it appropriately at all.
My question there is then, I mean, you wouldn't know because you're too young and you don't have all the facts, but how would anybody expect you to be successful if you didn't have tools beyond like, hey, count your carbs and put this in? And then everyone knows, I mean, everybody talks about their diabetes like, you know, oh, I don't know, I do the same thing every day and it never works out the same.
Right.
So if that's people's expectation of it, this is not specifically about your mom or any mom. I just don't understand how anyone would say, well, you know, this is very unknowable. It seems nebulous. It's hard to like pin down. She's 15. I'm sure she's got it. Why would somebody not say like,
so she, you know I mean, we went, I know. I totally get what you mean. Cause I'm a mom now too. So, and I give my mom a lot of grace and she was like talking like she's going to listen to this episode. So I'm like, wow.
Hi, Mom.
But yeah. I love you so much. Don't be sad by anything that I'm saying because I have 100% grace for you. But being a single mom, like, and going to school and going to work, like she became a nurse.
Yeah.
She worked night shift. She worked the weekend nights so that she'd be home throughout the week for us. And she had so much going on personally herself. You know, she had 2 older kids. My older brother has had his issues, you know, and then she had my younger brother. So I think that like I didn't make waves, so I didn't get a lot of.
Oh, you were that one. Like
I was that one. I was like
that one has good grades and takes a shower. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, no, I am like a peacemaker. Like I'm going to make everybody feel comfortable. Like I'm a host. Like I'm not loud and you know.
That can be an attribute of a child of divorce.
Well, I was.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But so I kind of pointed this out and asked the question in your story because your mom clearly is a hardworking person trying to succeed and trying to do better for all of you.
Yeah.
So like you can hear that in the story. Then the question that pops into my mind is if a person who's that focused is willing to just go like, oh, it's probably okay on something like this, then that's the answer. The answer is that people have only so much bandwidth and hers was used up already. This episode is brought to you by Omnipod. Would you ever buy a car without test driving it first? That's a big risk to take on a pretty large investment. You wouldn't do that, right? So why would you do it when it comes to choosing an insulin pump? Most pumps come with a 4-year lock-in period through the DME channel, and you don't even get to try it first. But not Omnipod 5. Omnipod 5 is available exclusively through the pharmacy which means it doesn't come with a typical 4-year DME lock-in period. Plus, you can get started with a free 30-day trial to be sure it's the right choice for you or your family. My daughter has been wearing an Omnipod every day for 17 years. Are you ready to give Omnipod 5 a try? Request your free starter kit today at my link, omnipod.com/juicebox. Terms and conditions apply. Eligibility may vary. Full terms and conditions can be found at omnipod.com/juicebox. Find my link in the show notes of this podcast player or at juiceboxpodcast.com. You've probably heard me talk about US Med and how simple it is to reorder with US Med using their email system. But did you know that if you don't see the email and you're set up for this, you have to set it up. They don't just randomly call you, but I'm set up to be called if I don't respond to the email because I don't trust myself 100%. So one time I didn't respond to the email and the phone rings at the house. It's like, ring, you know how it works. And I picked it up. I was like, hello. And it was just the recording. It was like, US Med. Doesn't actually sound like that, but you know what I'm saying. It said, hey, I don't remember exactly what it says, but it's basically like, hey, your order's ready. You want us to send it? Push this button if you want us to send it. Or if you'd like to wait, I think it lets you put it off like a couple of weeks or push this button for that. That's pretty much it. I pushed the button to send it. And a few days later, box right at my door. That's it. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. Get your free benefits checked now and get started with US Med. Dexcom, Omnipod, Tandem, Freestyle. They've got all your favorites. Even that new eyelet pump. Check them out now at usmed.com/juicebox or by calling 888-721-1514. There are links in the show notes of your podcast player and links at juiceboxpodcast.com to US Med and to all of the sponsors.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, she would try. I mean, obviously, we went to the endo. She got me seen by like a psychologist at the endo's office to talk about like, why are you doing this? Like, what's going on? They wanted to start me on an antidepressant, because that's, I feel like, a very Band-Aid fix for some things. And like none of that, not for people that are depressed. I wasn't depressed. You know what I mean? Like, not that I can recall at the time.
Yeah, you don't feel like you were clinically depressed. You feel like you were a young kid who didn't want to have diabetes and whose parents were divorced.
Correct. Yeah. And my dad lived 4 hours away and was like not involved at all. Still not really involved in my life. So it was like, we had a very close family, and it was like, she would make sure I took my insulin and stuff, but I also was hiding a lot. And like, I then developed diabulimia when I was like 16.
Okay.
That threw a wrench in like everything because I had poor body image issues from ever since I can remember. I always felt like overweight, like the fat kid. And then once I got diagnosed, I was like skinny, and then I would yo-yo with my insulin and whatever. I would retain a lot of water when I'd start taking insulin correctly again. Probably just the whole fluid shift that is associated with taking insulin. And the longer you do it for, I would finally like diurese, like the excess water would come off eventually. But it was just like, I didn't like to take insulin, and I associated insulin with being overweight. Yeah,
I gotcha. Were you limiting is that how it started? You started limiting your insulin to manipulate your weight?
Yeah, at like 16.
How'd you figure that out?
I went back to, when I didn't have insulin before I had diabetes, I was skinny. So we'll do it again. Little cause and effect there. Made sense to you. Yeah.
How long did you do that for? Did you get treatment for it? Where is that now?
I never got treatment for it. I did it really extremely after a high school breakup when I was like 16. Very classic girl move. So that was like 16 to 17. I like had the most issue with it. And then after that, I just kind of would only shoot my basal, and every once in a while I'd bolus.
Oh, okay.
I can't even tell you what my A1Cs were from the age of like 18 to 23. I didn't see an endo.
Because were you off of your peds endo at that point and then on to an adult endo?
Yeah. At 18, I kind of was like, I'm an adult now. I did see one endo after I turned 18. I was just like, I felt a lot of shame, and I was hiding too.
What was the shame for? Do you recall?
Not taking care of my diabetes. Like, I knew that it was bad to not take care of my diabetes. Like, and I knew that I was doing something that was harmful, but like, I didn't have the tools to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like gaining weight. And so I just kept doing what I had gotten used to.
Yeah. And that was more powerful than the shame. So that's the way you leaned.
Yeah. Every time I felt like I tried to get control of my diabetes, I don't know if I was like over basal. I'm sure I was over basaled. I would then be met with like a lot of lows, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it just felt like no matter what I do it wrong. I just can't deal with this. And your brain is not fully developed until you're 25. So
Yeah.
I was definitely not fully developed.
I'm still waiting for mine to fully develop. So,
Yeah.
So would you describe it as you get beat down, you finally decide to get up again, and then you throw yourself back into the fight and everything goes wrong. So you just figure like, well, I'll just stay down.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay. What gets you out of that when you're 23?
Oh, just like all the women that get on here that get married and decide that they're going to want to have a family. And I actually do want to live and be healthy and, you know, I'm being mature too. So I actually became a nurse. I'm a nurse. I became a nurse by the time I was 20.
Okay.
Which a lot of nursing school, like when we learned the whole diabetes thing, that was when, again, I would like try to have, you know, when you're going through the whole diabetes module of like what type 2 is and type 1 is. And I was like, I tried again, you know, I was like, okay, I can do this. If we're educated about it, whatever. So I had a lot of like textbook knowledge, I guess, but I didn't like put it into play. But I felt a lot of shame as a type 1 diabetic that was like not taking care of themselves, you know, and I was at work. I worked labor and delivery at the time. And I took care of a patient that came in with uncontrolled type 1 diabetes. She delivered a baby. I will remember this forever. She was 32 weeks. Her baby was 9 pounds. She had a shoulder dystocia at delivery, and the baby went to the NICU, and she, you know, everyone like looked at her and like blamed her. And I just thought, that's me.
Okay. So not only are you standing there having to tell this person what they're doing wrong while you're personally doing it wrong, now you're starting to think like, that's how this is going to go for me. I'm going to be this person. If I'm not already, I'm going to be the day I become pregnant.
Yeah. And sorry, I'm emotional. I just so badly wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
That like, I felt like I can't do that to my babies.
Well, do you need a minute? Are you okay?
No, I'll be okay. I'm good.
I want to go back to that thing you said, because I mean, I've identified this a long time ago on the podcast. Now, there's sometimes I think that maybe the podcast is more about this conversation you and I are having and others like it than it is just about the diabetes. But you're saying that at some point, fueled with the idea that you wanted to be a mom and you didn't want your kid to be in a bad position. You didn't want your own health to be in a bad position, to put a child's health in a bad position. That fuel then what becomes like you find a vehicle to put it into when you meet somebody who you want to complete that cycle with. Like it's a guy, right? Like you meet a guy and you're like, oh, this is the right person. I have this drive. I'll take better care of myself.
Well, so I was engaged and got left the day that I was supposed to get married when I was 21.
Yo, somebody left you at the altar?
Yeah, for real.
That actually happened to you? Like you're talking about like in a dress and...
Yeah, I was like getting ready. I got like, he like disappeared. We couldn't find him. It was a whole dramatic, like whatever type of thing. We finally find out where he goes. He tells me, this is what really hurts so bad. And I hear this voice in my head, not the voice per se, but the what he said, I don't want to have to take care of you.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's what he said was the reason why he didn't want to marry me. Because at that time, I was trying to get better control of my diabetes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think his dad, I mean, we were so young. We dated all through high school. And then, I mean, he saw me go through diabulimia. He saw me yo-yo with like the insulin back and forth. I don't know what it's like from his perspective, but at 22, you probably don't want to take care of this girl. She's Like, honestly, though, I was pretty put together everywhere outside of diabetes. I was a nurse at 20. I made good money. I paid for our apartment. I paid for our car. Like, I did a lot, right? So, and he was still in school. So, but for him to say he didn't want to take care of me, really, sometimes when I'm with my husband, I still think like nobody wants to take care of me because my dad left when I was like 2 as well.
Yeah.
So you have that whole, thing going on.
Feels like it's a cycle, right?
Yeah, like what's wrong with me type of thing. But I know there's nothing wrong with me now.
Sure.
I know that. I'm very confident in the fact that
you're kind to make the arguments in his favor because they're not untrue, right? Like first of all, you guys are too young to get married. I just want to put that out there right now.
Okay.
My wife was that age when we got married and we were too young to get married. It was a terrible idea. And he's too young to know how to manage that conversation. Obviously, if he let it get to that point, like, right, that he felt like that for a while.
I would say, yeah.
The finality of marriage is what pushed him to just blurt it out.
Right. Yeah. And then just be like, I can't.
Might have been cool if he said it 2 years before and you could have had time to talk about it. But you make the point earlier, like nobody's brain's formed yet. Nobody knows what they're doing when they're 20, right?
Yeah.
You can't handle that well. Does it throw you into, do you rise triumphant from this? Or do you start doing the math in your head going, my dad left, this guy left, nobody's going to care. I'm so accomplished in the rest of my life and it's not overcoming this diabetes thing. I can't figure it out. Like maybe they're right, or like where does your head go?
I moved back in with my mom and my stepdad at this time, and they just helped me to get some therapy and some counseling. And I was still working. I actually changed jobs at that time. I worked like a med surge floor. I went to labor and delivery, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. That's what I wanted to do. And I actually became a believer, so like a Christian at that time, and that saved me, like truly.
Okay. You tried therapy and God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my therapist she's the pastor's
like a pastor.
wife. So,
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Were you religious minded prior to that?
No. My mom married a man when I was 17. They're still married. He's a believer and like totally transformed our whole family.
I see. Okay. Awesome. So you're saying 23, is that when you met somebody and you decided to get married again?
Yeah. So my husband and I met online dating. We met, and then 6 months later we were engaged, and then like 6 months after that we were married. So we met and got married within like a year.
Was it online dating particularly for people with like a certain religious background?
Yeah, it was Christian makeup.
I was going to say, they should call it Ginge, right? Like Jesus Hinge.
Oh, I don't know now. Like that was 12 years ago. So we've been married for 10 years. So,
yeah. Well, congratulations. Christian mingle, huh?
Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah. There's some really weird, there's some really weird people on there too. So I went on some dates that were like, these people are not,
Please just tell me the high level overview of the odd date, of the oddest one that pops into your head.
I went to a baseball game with the guy, and he was flirting with all the girls around me. And then at the end, he tried to take my glasses off to kiss me, which is like so weird, right? Like we're on a date at a baseball game. You're flirting with all these. He was like, oh, like he was talking to them, telling them they were so pretty and stuff like that. And I was like, what is going on? And then we get to leave, and he like goes to take my glasses off, and I'm like, what is happening? And then he tries to kiss me, and I was like, no.
I always wonder how many times in a day a girl is thinking, what is happening? It must be so many times.
Yeah, it was really bizarre.
He's giving me older than you vibes in that.
Yeah, probably a few years older.
I feel it. Okay. Well, he thought that was smooth, the glasses thing.
No, that's like gonna blind me. That's weird.
You're like, awesome.
Don't touch my face. I don't know you.
I'm gonna get my glasses back. You're gonna back up, and I'm gonna still need a ride home. But then, yeah, we're done now. That's interesting. Okay. All right. So you meet your guy, and you set on a plan. How do you change your diabetes management so that you're not back in that spot where you're like, well, damn it, I'm gonna take care of myself, but I'm gonna gain weight? And like, how do you keep that cycle from happening that time?
So I went to an endo and I found low carb.
Okay.
So I decided I'm going to like low carb was kind of like popular then. Like it started to get, or I guess maybe I just became aware of it. I don't actually know how long it's been popular for. But in my brain, it's been popular for like 10 years.
I think it's been popular since cavemen, but yeah, I gotcha.
You know what I mean? But like I became aware of it at that time.
Right.
I started to eat low carb. I went to an endo. I was in her office and they do the A1C like right there where they prick your finger and do the automatic A1C.
Sure.
And my A1C was like 11 and I just started crying. Because at this point I had been trying for the last like, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, you know?
This is a month or so of you going, I am going to do this. Wait till you see how good I am. Oh my God, my A1C is 11. That's the vibe?
Yeah, that's the vibe. So I start crying and she was so kind to me. She was the nicest endo. She hugged me and she goes, this doesn't have to be where you have to be forever. We can change from here. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you don't know. This is years of bad blood sugar. I don't even know what I've done wrong. And she was like, well, let's start from here and see where we can go.
What did she start with?
Lantus and Humalog probably was what I was on.
Right.
And then I got a continuous glucose monitor, mind blown about that. And then I got the Animus that you could have your glucose monitor on. What is that called?
Was it the Ping?
No, maybe the Vibe.
Vibe?
The Vibe?
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. It was a while ago. It was 10 years ago. So I had that. I get a gut punch because once you start regulating your blood sugars, what do you think happens to your eyes? I got retinopathy. I probably had retinopathy, but I got retinal edema because all those blood vessels in the back of my eyes that were like growing to, feed the eyeball from all the damage now became like inflamed when my blood sugars came down so quickly. Mm-hmm. So I saw a retina specialist who was a total jerk and was like, well, you have type 1 diabetes. What did you think was going to happen? To which my mom was at that appointment and she was like, we think that we're going to change and we don't need your help.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and what are you, 22, 23 at that point?
I was 23.
Yeah. What did I think was going to happen? I don't know what I think about anything.
Right. Yeah.
You were 23 at one point too, and you didn't know anything either. Like, boy, I don't know why people have to be assholes.
He told me that it wasn't a medical emergency, what I was going through, and I didn't need to be seen as quickly as I thought I did because I was trying to push for a sooner appointment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, what did you think was going to happen?
Okay. So you made the switch, you found somebody else, and then what's the treatment like for your eyes?
Yeah. So I had Avastin injections. And then once I regulated my blood sugars down for a while, so my A1C at that appointment was like 11. My next A1C was 6.5. And the one after that was below 6.
Wow. And that's just off the doctor going, hey, we'll just move some things around here. Try this, try that. And that easy.
Well, it was really like I decided with the continuous glucose monitor, knowing your numbers makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. So once I actually knew what my blood sugars were and I was exercising and I ate low carb and I just was like, yeah, I have diabetes. This is going to be a thing. Like I have it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I can't ignore it. Were you a person who didn't talk about it prior to that?
Oh, yeah, I hid it. I mean, nobody knew. I didn't tell anybody.
Okay. And did that change when you found your rhythm?
I talk more about it now since I'm a mom, because I don't want, if my kids get diabetes, I never want them to feel like they have to hide it. So I think it's actually, and yeah, probably just, I wasn't ashamed of it anymore. So okay. I'm definitely way more open to talk about it now. It's nothing I lead with oh, hi, my name's Alex. I have diabetes.
Alex diabetes, what's going on?
Yeah, right. No, that's not how I roll.
Yeah. So I'm dying to know, you've been married for a decade now. Was the other guy right? Or are you taking care of yourself? You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I'm totally taking care of myself. He was wrong.
He was wrong. But back then, would he have been right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He was right.
So it's the big change.
I mean, if he didn't leave, I don't know if that didn't happen, none of my life now would be where it's at. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Isn't that something something that you probably in the moment thought of as the worst thing that ever happened to you? In just a few years of hindsight, you can say that maybe is the thing that saved me.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the fact that my husband was living in Australia and found out he had a kid in the United States is what brought him home. And then that's when we met. Like he was in a whole different country. So the fact that we even ended up together is like crazy.
A lot of Christian mingling going on, it sounds like.
Well, he wasn't a Christian before. Yeah, no, for sure. We all have past lives. I love my stepson, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how many kids do you have now?
Yeah, so I have my 16-year-old stepson. I have a 7-year-old daughter, a 4-year-old son, and my baby just turned 8 months yesterday.
Oh my gosh, you've made 3 babies in the last 10 years?
I have made 3 babies in the last 10 years and we're done.
Did any of them come out like 9 pounds when they were barely in there for a while, or it all went pretty well?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no, it didn't go so great.
Okay. How'd it go?
Yeah, that's actually, so I originally reached out to you. Okay, great. So my daughter was born. So the crazy thing with her was I lost vision in one of my eyes because of the retinopathy. They had me take aspirin to prevent preeclampsia, which they have everybody that has high risk take that. I actually think because of that and the fact that I had had laser done in my eye prior to being pregnant, just any extra pressure, you could have like a retinal, like a bleed from a vessel that breaks off.
Okay.
So in my left eye, it's my left. I lost vision in my left eye when I was pregnant with her. And they were like, it's okay. It'll come back, like your eye. Because it wasn't a retinal detachment. It was just like my eye got filled with floaters to the point where I couldn't see.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it was really scary. I was actually working, like I bent over and coughed. So extra pressure, right? Mm-hmm. I was bending over and I coughed while I was like, I think I was emptying. I do remember I was emptying a patient's Foley catheter when I was doing it. And then I stood up and then I could just see, like, I don't know if any of you have a floater or whatever, but like I could just see the darkness happen in my left eye.
Wow.
So that was crazy. I was probably 30 weeks pregnant. With her, I developed preeclampsia and had to deliver early at 34 weeks. She went to the NICU. She's fine now. I mean, she's perfectly healthy and everything's great. She had respiratory distress. She was there for 2 weeks, which was really hard for me. I took a lot of shame on with that. I'm somebody that like really internalizes everything is my fault type of thing. So especially since I was supposed to keep her safe, and grow her to the right way. I didn't grow her the right way. So I felt really guilty about that. And probably a little bit of postpartum depression after her. And then I wasn't able to breastfeed well because I became an overproducer. So babies usually eat 2 to 3 ounces every 2 to 3 hours. So that's about 24 ounces a day. I produced like 80 ounces a day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So way more than she could eat. So for the first 2 months of her life, once we were home, it was all about breastfeeding. We were seeing lactation after lactation. I was supposed to pump before, feed her, pump after. But by the time you do that, that's 2 hours. She's going to need to eat again.
Yeah, no, you're just hooked up to the machine 24 hours a day.
You're just a cow. That's literally, I was like, all I exist for is for my boobs. Like, you can't do this.
But so many women tell me about how the breastfeeding makes their blood sugar low. Were you having to eat constantly to keep up with it?
Yeah, my blood sugars were really low too. Yeah. I finally was like, wow, I can eat because I ate I was so strict with my diet. My A1Cs when I was pregnant with her were 4.9. I think my highest A1C when I was pregnant with my daughter was 5.3, 5.4.
What a slap in the face, by the way, that you could finally just kind of eat whatever you want. Your blood sugar stays lower. But the trade-off is you have to be basically pumping constantly to keep that going.
24/7. Yeah. So then I decided to just exclusively pump and then just bottle feed, which was fine. I got to the point where you just pump every 6 hours, and then you go to during the day when the baby sleeps through the night, you can sleep through the night type of thing. And that all worked fine. And I was still eating low carb. I ate low carb my whole pregnancy. I ate low carb my whole postpartum thing. Mm-hmm. And that was good. And then I got pregnant with my son. We were trying. And we got pregnant the day everybody locked down. So in March of 2020,
you didn't
we got
even
pregnant.
Get a couple of fun months in there. It was just on day one.
No, we were trying before.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we were trying before. But then COVID happened, and I'm a nurse, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? I'm going to work taking care of patients with COVID. What's gonna happen to this baby? So I was all worried about that. But nothing ever happened with him. So that's great. But I did have a normal pregnancy.
Did you ever get COVID while you were pregnant?
Not while I was pregnant.
Right.
No, I got pregnant. I got COVID in 2021, like in December of 2021.
Doesn't the body like kind of super ramp up your immune system while you're pregnant? Like, don't a lot of women report being not getting colds while they're pregnant, stuff like that, right? Am I right about that?
I don't know.
You've had 3 babies and you're a nurse. Why am I'm asking you and you're like, I don't know.
I still got sick when I was pregnant because I take care of sick people, Yeah,
that's what I was wondering, because you're face to face with sick people. You must be sick all the time, like as a nurse.
Yeah, I'm not now, not nearly as much as, I don't think so. I actually think my nickname when I was growing up was Typhoid Alex because my dad named me that. So kind.
Right before he left?
Yeah, no, it was when we'd go see him. But he'd be like, "You come in town and you're not sick, and then you leave and everybody gets sick. You're like a carrier for stuff."
Awesome. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah,
I love you. Give me a hug, please.
Yeah, he's the greatest. A lot of sarcasm there. Anyways, so no, but I don't know about that. But they were really nice to me at my work. I worked on a labor and delivery. I still do. They were like, okay, anyone pregnant doesn't have to take care of COVID patients. And we swabbed everybody when they got admitted. So, and if you were coming in for an induction or a C-section, we could see if you had COVID. You'd have to go get your COVID test prior to being admitted to the hospital. So as a kindness to anyone that was pregnant, they didn't let us take care of anybody that had COVID.
Okay. So listen, I'm learning here along with everybody else. Ready? Pregnancy doesn't boost the immune system in a blanket way, but it reshapes it. Immune system shifts in pregnancy during early pregnancy, which is implantation and first trimester. The immune system is dialed down in some ways so the body doesn't reject the embryo. In the second trimester, the immune system becomes more balanced, letting mom fight off infections better while still protecting the baby. In the third trimester, the immune system ramps back up to prepare for labor, which is basically an inflammatory process. It says that what that means in practice is that pregnant women aren't immune boosted. They're more vulnerable to certain infections like the flu, COVID-19, listeria. At the same time, some immune responses are heightened. Conditions like asthma or autoimmune diseases such as RA or multiple sclerosis often improve temporarily during pregnancy, while others can flare. Vaccinations during pregnancy, like a flu or a Tdap, are recommended because mom's antibodies can be passed on to the baby. I'm wrong. That's a thing that I've grown up hearing people say all the time. And seems like it's partially right depending on what trimester you're in, and partially completely wrong depending on what trimester you're in. So now we're all learning something together.
Yeah.
That music should play right here. The more you know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know really the song, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So had my son.
Yep.
And after him, he also went to the NICU for respiratory distress because they and myself, I don't mind being induced at 37 weeks because I've seen bad outcomes, So the minute I hit 37 weeks, I'm like, baby's term, let's go,
Good enough,
it's better out of me than in me. I don't let's get the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have the baby. So he did go to some people would think that that's I don't know. There's a lot of birth is natural, whatever. But I have seen so many terrible outcomes at term, post dates, when you're past 40 weeks. I just want my baby out and healthy.
Can I get a couple examples of outcomes that you've seen that you didn't want?
Yeah, people that come in and their baby is just dead, passed away. It's called an IUFD, intrauterine fetal demise at term, and they don't know why.
Oh, gosh. I guess if you see that a couple of times, it sticks with you, huh?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I have anxiety outside of being pregnant. But when I'm pregnant, I'm worried about the baby the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you think that is somewhat to do with your job?
Yes. I don't think my job helps at all. And yeah, I do. I think because I've seen all the things that I've seen, it's my job. And then also knowing that I have type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
So I had him And he went to the NICU for like a few days because he had respiratory distress, and he was fine. He had no issues. He was only there for a couple of days. And then postpartum with him, tried to breastfeed him, didn't go great again because I'm an overproducer. So I just decided, whatever, we're skipping this 2 months of trying. We're just going to exclusively pump. My husband can feed bottles. It'll be great. So that's what we did. And that worked really well. And then I was probably like 6 or 7 weeks postpartum. And I remember this because it was a big deal. I like stood up, I put my son down and I stood up. We have a split level. And I walked up like 5 stairs to go meet my husband and give him a hug because he just got home from work. When he let go of me, I passed out.
Oh.
So like I lost consciousness. And I was only like 6 or 7 weeks postpartum because I hadn't gone back to work yet. My blood sugar was completely normal. Wouldn't you think that I would know that with a continuous glucose monitor? Everything was fine. But that is what the emergency room decided. I had a low blood sugar. I was like, well, you can look at my Dexcom graph. My blood sugar was normal. Because my mom is an ER nurse at this time. She's like, you lost consciousness. You could have hit your head. Because my husband let go of me and I fell. He didn't catch me.
He's like, oh, gosh, she's heavy. I don't want to hurt myself.
I don't know. Like my daughter had come upstairs too, and she was 2. So maybe she was giving him a hug. Okay, I don't know. I lost consciousness. Wasn't there.
I'm gone
I don't
now.
know what happened.
Right.
All I know is I like was on the floor when I woke up, and he said I was like jerking. Like he's like, I don't think you had a seizure, but you're like shaking. And he checked my blood sugar with my Dexcom. Like he looked at my app and he was like, no, your blood sugar is fine. Like
But it wasn't.
No, it was. It was actually fine. Like my blood sugar was fine. The ER was at that time was convinced that that was the problem.
Yeah, the CGM was reading
wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that you had a low blood sugar, and I was like, but I didn't. So my mom made me go to the ER. I went to the ER. They ran tests, and they found out nothing. They just were like, well, it could be your blood sugar, could be your heart. Like, let's go see cardiology. And then I listened to your podcast. I was like, it could be my thyroid, like maybe it's my thyroid causing my heart rate to go up. Because I noticed, because we had moved into a split level right before we had my son, that whenever I go upstairs, I get really tachycardic. So I was like, could be my thyroid, could be POTS, like whatever. So I wore a Holter monitor. The cardiologist said nothing was abnormal. Time went on. I did start taking iodine and selenium to help my thyroid because my endocrinologist was like, no, your thyroid's fine. And my levels were normal. They were under 2. Mm-hmm. So they were fine.
Is it possible? I mean, it really does feel to me like the most reasonable explanation is that the CGM just wasn't caught up to the low blood sugar yet.
No, I didn't have a seizure. Like all it was it's jerking from lack of oxygen to brain activity. So I'll get to what it actually was.
Oh, you have an answer to this. You have an answer.
I have an answer. Right. I have an answer, but I didn't find it out until after I've had my last babies because I kind of just felt like crap on and off after I had my son. And I was like, and everyone's just like, well, that's postpartum, I
have to tell you, you've been so well trained by listening to the podcast so much. You don't need me here. Like I should just leave you alone because you're doing such a good job of telling your story. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Look at me jumping in and you're just like, shut up. I'm getting to it.
I have it kind of written out.
Oh, no kidding.
In front of me. Little bullet points of like, what came next.
Well, so you're doing great. Go ahead. You should be. Yeah.
Okay, great. A year of feeling like crap. And then I finally stopped, pumping for my son. He got to a year. I always try to give him at least a year of breast milk. And because I'm an overproducer, I have like a deep freezer full of extra breast milk. So they get plenty. So then I stopped pumping and I finally felt like a normal human. But in that year, I was like trying to like figure out what's wrong with me. Is it my thyroid? Is it POTS? I don't have POTS. I got tested. It wasn't my thyroid. I actually made an appointment with integrative diabetes and I wanted to talk to Jenny because like I've heard Jenny on the podcast, but I couldn't get an appointment with her because she's like so busy and booked. I did talk to somebody and they gave me they suggested getting certain labs drawn, which I did, but it didn't lead to anything, Mm-hmm. And then once I was done breastfeeding, I felt fine. So I was like, wow, I feel like this, it must have just been, must just be this postpartum period that everybody talks about.
Okay.
And then I had my youngest daughter. She's 8 months old. So I had her in December and that pregnancy was fine. All of my pregnancies, I've been able to be really active through. I exercise every day. Like I run, I row, I bike, I lift weights. Like I like to exercise. It's great. And I work part-time. I didn't really have any issues at all. Blood pressures were normal. Everything was fine. And I had a great delivery. I'm like 5 weeks postpartum. My husband wakes up. This is the story that made me reach out to you. My husband wakes up and he goes, he's like, I got to go on a business trip. I have a meeting. He owns his own business. So he was going out of town to try and get a job and leaving for somewhere on a plane. So I was like, okay, I have all 4 kids. I wake up to get my oldest up for high school. So I like go up the stairs and I pass out going up the stairs, but I can feel it about to happen. So I laid down. So I didn't actually lose consciousness. And then I like basically just stand up slowly and go to his room and still wake him up, which now hindsight, I don't know why I let him go to school, but I was like, okay, hey, you got to go to school. So then I went back to my room. So split level, it's like 5 steps down, another 5 steps down.
Okay.
So I go back to my room and I lay down and my heart just is like pounding. And I'm like, something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong, but something's wrong with me. So I text my husband, not to alarm him, but I'm like, hey, I'm not feeling well. And he goes, getting on the plane. I hope you feel better.
Good luck.
Love you. And, that's what he says. So that was great. So then I called my mom because I'm like, well, he's not, he's on a plane now.
Yeah.
He's on a plane, like, great. And my mom's an ER nurse, so I text her, and she works nights at the time. So I text her and I was like, are you awake? Are you at work? And she calls me and she's like, what's going on? It's like 6 a.m. Why do you, so whatever. So she calls me and I'm like, Mom, I don't feel good. And she's like, what's going on? I was like, I just feel like I can't catch my breath and my heart's beating so hard. Like I just do not feel well at all. And she was like, okay, what do you need? And I was like, I passed out when I went to go get my stepson up for school. And she was like, okay, I'm not at work, but I'll just come to your house. So she lives about 45 minutes away. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. I got like teary eyed on the phone because I just was like, I can't get the baby up if I'm going to like try and go up the stairs with the baby. She's in my room. Like I'm going to drop her. What do I do? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, sure.
I had all these like, oh my gosh, these little people are dependent on me. Something's wrong and I don't know what's wrong. Like, what do I do? So I somehow get my baby upstairs. It's really crazy. I actually just scooted on my butt and went up my butt, holding the baby up the stairs backwards, like a kid, because I didn't want to like pass out when I held her, but she needed to eat, and all of my stuff to feed her is upstairs and like in our main level in the kitchen. So then my oldest daughter wakes up and she has school. She's waking up, and my kids are so great. Like they're like ready. Like we lay out everything the night before. We're very routine oriented. So both of them are getting dressed. Both of them are getting ready for the day. And my son thinks it's funny that I'm crawling around on the floor. He like jumps on my back.
This
and
lady's
I was like,
a crack
James.
up. We're having a party.
Yeah. He's like, he jumps on my back. I'm like, hey, no, like this is not okay. I don't feel good. Like I'm like, I don't feel good.
Mommy's dying. Just stop.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, something's really wrong with me.
Yeah.
And then I almost puke. I'm not a puker. I've never puked in any of my pregnancies. Like puking. Like if I puke, like then the world is ending to me. I don't do it well. Like I don't know how to do it. Like I just don't puke. So I felt like that, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to puke. What's happening? So the kids help me feed the baby. My oldest daughter warms up a bottle because she knows how to do that because she's great. 6 years old. She's amazing. And then my mom is at my house and she's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, let's get the kids to school. And she's like, okay. Okay. She doesn't know how to drive my
Wait, she doesn't know how to drive your mini? Was it a stick?
You know how some people, like, if they're not familiar with, I don't like to drive other people's cars if I'm not familiar with it, you know?
All right. Listen,
know.
your mom's going to get made fun of. She can't pivot to a minivan?
No, she could. But there's so on the Honda Odyssey to reverse, you like have to push down on the R, not like push the button.
Okay.
You know? She probably could have done it fine, but I just get in the driver's seat and I drive. We drop my daughter off at one school and we drop my son off at the other school. And we're like in the van and she's like, what's your heart rate? And I was like, it's 160. And she was like, oh, well, we're going to the hospital. And I was like, no, I'm going to be fine. Because like all I have in my head is like the last ER visit after I had my son, everything was fine. And they said like it was no big deal. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So my mom's like, no, your respirators are really high too. And I was like, what? And she's like, you like can't catch your breath. Like when you talk, you're like pausing so much in between talking. And I was like, she had asked me already, what was your blood sugar? And my blood sugars were normal. Actually, they were on the lower end, right? So we go to the hospital. They make me walk back after I almost passed up just standing out. And I like grabbed the wall and I was like, I'm about to pass out. I need a wheelchair. Like, I'm going to need you to help me.
Yeah.
Because my mom had taken my baby to go warm up more breast milk because babies eat all the time, so she needs to eat. Thankfully, we had packed everything up in getting the kids in the car. I had brought bottles and breast milk and stuff. It's amazing how you can just do things automatically, even though you're like kind of dying at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. So we're in the hospital and this doctor comes in and he was like, I don't know what's wrong. Like they wanted to rule out a PE because that's common after pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me some more questions and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I just woke up and I started feeling this way. It turns out I had what's called lactation acidosis.
What?
So yes, that's what I want. Nobody knows. There's like hardly any cases. You should ask ChatGPT about it. I can't wait to hear what ChatGPT says. But lactation acidosis, because I eat an extremely low carb diet, and by like extremely low carb, I mean like I kind of eat what's called ketovore. So like it's like some vegetables and mainly just like animal products. Like that's how I feel the best.
Okay.
And because I ate such a low carb diet, I required such little insulin because of my basal metabolic needs increased with breastfeeding. I was probably only getting about 10 units a day. I went into acidosis because I didn't have enough insulin for my body requirements, but my blood sugars were totally normal.
Lactic acidosis is a thing. You had it. That's crazy.
Yeah, lactation acidosis.
It told me that is not what it is. They say people sometimes call it lactation acidosis, but it's lactic acidosis. Who knows?
Oh, sorry.
Don't be sorry. This could also be wrong. A dangerous buildup of lactic acid in the blood leading to an acidic pH. It happens when the body either overproduces lactate from low oxygen or extreme stress, or can't clear lactate efficiently from liver or kidney dysfunction. Low oxygen, shock, severe anemia, cardiac arrest, respiratory failure could all cause this.
So I think that is something different. So what I had was like euglycemic DKA from breastfeeding.
You had okay.
Euglycemic, GLY. I'm not going to spell anymore because I can't spell.
No, hold on. It's good. I'm there. Oh, I see where this is going. You're asking if breastfeeding can cause low blood sugar, glycemic changes. Lactation ketoacidosis, extremely rare condition seen in breastfeeding women, usually when dietary carbohydrate intake is very low.
Mm-hmm.
The body burns fat for energy, gives you ketone buildup, metabolic acidosis, symptoms, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, rapid breathing, weakness, labs, normal or low blood sugar, high ketones, metabolic acidosis, treated with IV glucose fluids and stopping the catabolic state. Glycemic issues from breastfeeding often mean lower. Wow, that's what happened to you?
Yeah, so that's why I felt like crap after I had my son. Yeah. I was eating that same way. Nobody caught it, and I was probably going in and out of that continuously.
You just needed a piece of bread?
Yeah, I just needed to eat more carbs.
How about that? So you never had that trouble again, I imagine.
After I got diagnosed with it, no. They admitted me. I was in the hospital because like all my labs were off.
Yeah.
Also because I think the third baby, I was just eating less in general. Like I didn't have time in the morning. I have 2 people to get to school, another one to feed. So I was intermittent fasting without really trying.
Mm-hmm.
I was eating at like 11 and then I wasn't, and I ate so low carb. So I'd eat one meal and then I'd eat dinner and then I was tired. So as soon as the baby went to bed, my husband and I did shifts with the baby.
Yeah.
I stayed up late with her and then he woke up in the middle of the night with her. But I didn't eat after a certain time because I was so tired.
Yeah. So you weren't eating to begin with, but when you were eating very low carb.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do you eat nowadays?
I still eat low carb, but I make sure I get at least 50 grams of carbs in a day.
Okay. That's interesting. And and you're doing well with that, right? Like your body composition, even after 3 kids, you're good. I think I know who you are from online, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm good. I mean, I weigh more, but I have a lot of muscle to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
I lost all the baby weight pretty much. And all of it. But so their solution, everyone didn't know what I had, but my pH was off, my anion gap was off, my electrolytes were off. So they admitted me, they treated me, but they didn't want me to take insulin because my blood sugars were so low. And they're like, but you can't eat anything. So what are we going to do? Like they were so confused about what they were going to do to raise my blood sugar. So they left the room and I ate like 3 packs of gummies. And I was like, well, that'll get it up. They'll be able to give me insulin now.
I'll fix this. Hold on a second.
Right. And my mom was like, they said not to eat. I'm like, I should be eating if they want me to get insulin.
Did you hear them talking? They don't know what to do.
Yeah, they don't know what to do. Yeah. So I took more insulin. I got fluids. My husband came back home.
I'm back. I'm off the plane.
Right. No, he landed and I was like, my mom took me to the ER and he was like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, and at the same time, my son, so it could have been a combination of things. My son got the stomach bug while he's at school. After we drop him off, they call for us to go pick him up because he puked everywhere. So I don't know if like I was somewhat sick.
Oh, but on top of that.
Like, and that could have triggered it too, you know?
If they're like, come pick him up. I'm like, I'm in the hospital. I can't come pick anybody up.
No, that's what I said. I was like, I'm in the hospital. And they're like, well, your mom dropped him off. Can she pick him up? Because it's a small preschool that he went to.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, she's with me taking care of the baby. Like, I'm like, hold on, I'll figure it out.
Release him into the street. He'll find his way home. He's fine. He's like a homing kid. It'll be okay.
My family went and picked him up. He's fine. He still remembers it though. Like today, actually, he's like, I want to watch The Lion King so he can do something while I'm talking to you.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, and he was like, remember that time I puked and you couldn't get me? Aunt Bridget let me watch The Lion King. And I was like, oh, like that's so funny.
Yeah, what they remember.
Yeah.
When Arden was diagnosed, we had one of those little like portable DVD players. Like, I don't even know if people realize that was a thing.
Yeah.
Arden watched Sky High over and over and over again in the hospital. And Kelly can't watch it. Now, if it comes on, it makes her upset.
Yeah, I get that.
It's interesting. But Arden loves it. So, what are you going to do? Yeah.
She doesn't have any negative association.
No, not at all. Yeah. So, well, The Lion King. Very nice. By the way, we made a Lion King reference the other day, and Arden goes, I've never seen that. And I'm like, you haven't? She goes, no. I'm like, we've seen it on Broadway. She goes, I've never seen the movie. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, it's on Disney Plus. You should watch it.
I was like, I told her to try it one time. She's like, Yeah, I was like, okay. It
was my favorite movie growing up.
I think it might have missed her. It's going to end up being one of those movies she's just never going to see till one of her, like, some little kid in her life throws it on one day.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, this was awesome. I can't thank you enough for listening to almost every episode of the podcast and coming on and just doing a fantastic job of telling your story. You guys should all go listen to all 1,600 episodes, then come on and be great guests.
Yeah.
Like Alex. That was really fantastic. I am going to need to say goodbye in a minute because I have to record again in a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I pushed back. Yeah. I do want to say I wanted to come on because it's so rare, and I was trying to like have normal blood sugars by eating low carb, because that's kind of how I manage with the diabulimia. Like it helps me manage my insulin levels, I guess you could say,
Sure.
Still take insulin, but not take like when I take a lot, it still makes me think like, oh, I'm going to gain weight. And I just don't like those negative thoughts. So I like eating low carb. I still take my insulin. I get to be normal A1Cs and all that. So I felt like, oh, I'm doing such a good job, like whatever. And then that happened. And I was like, that's so crazy. And nobody had they were all like probably chat GPTing what was wrong with me, over at the doctor's nurse's station.
So let us go Google this and we'll come back and let you know what we think you should do.
Yeah. So I don't know that that's like a thing people know, that your low carb diet with breastfeeding and type 1 diabetes, you can have totally normal blood sugars and actually go into a form of DKA.
How about that? Well, I mean, these are the kind of stories we need. We've been doing this for 11 years now. Like sometimes the more rare stories are incredibly interesting. This one certainly isn't. I don't know if it'll intersect anybody that'll ever be like, oh, this is, I can stop myself from this happening, or, oh, is that what's happening to me? But it's still really interesting to hear you tell it. And, just to know that different things happen to different people. And I mean, you had to be pregnant twice to figure it out.
Right. I know. I did feel terrible for like a year.
Yeah. Just to like have this like moment where you kind of put enough of it together and the circumstances came together enough that you were like, oh, we have an answer now. Crazy. Yeah.
It had to get bad enough. Yeah. Because prior, when I was after I had my son, I probably ate more frequently or didn't eat as strict or whatever because, And
it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you're still a nurse now?
Yeah. I work in an obstetrical emergency department on a labor and delivery. So it's OB/ED. But yeah, I'm a nurse.
You just made a comment. You said like they were probably out of the room chat GPTing it. Does that happen a lot?
No, I don't. It doesn't happen where I work, but I know that it does happen.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Well, I know that a lot of doctors, like we in pregnancy, I don't know. It's like, well, everybody's different. Like that's like a very common answer that you give people,
Arden had her first class yesterday of the semester. And she said the teacher asked a bunch of questions. And one of the questions the teacher just outrightly asked was, hey, can you guys tell me, gave him some sort of a scale. Often, frequently, whatever. And said, how many of you guys cheat to get through school? And Arden was like, I really don't. She's like, but some of the kids really did. And then they started talking about it. And she's like, I think I realized that when COVID happened, I was almost like a senior.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to develop that muscle of like, hey, nobody's looking. I can just look it up. And, she's like, but the kids who lived through that time in COVID when they were younger, she's like, everybody cheated. I know a kid who got into a college they did not belong in just by cheating in high school during COVID. Like, was actually able to like advance their GPA enough that got them into that school. And then they got to the school, found themselves overwhelmed, obviously, right? Because they didn't really legitimately belong there academically. And then just kept doing it and made their way right through their degree. Like just like that, just, graduated with really high honors, great GPA. You find that person right now and ask them if they'd be honest with you, they'd be like, I don't understand anything of what happened to me in that school. So,
but that's so scary because that's like doctors and nurses. That's like our future.
That's my point. Is it's going to be a lot of different people mixed into society who are just like, well, I didn't know, so I looked. I mean, like for this, it's fine. Like I'm making a podcast. Like I don't know about this lactic thing. Like I don't know. Like so, I'll do my best to look it up real quickly, and hopefully people can dig into it more if they're interested, right? But I'm not then going to go out into the world and become like a lactation nurse. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to be out there pretending that I know because I looked it up and then, try to, I don't know, go tell somebody else about it. Like I bring it up, you guys can go check on it and see what you think, Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Like it's an interesting issue.
It's sad. I mean, I think it's sad. I think that I'm scared to get older. That's honestly, I was like, I'm so glad my third baby is a girl. I have 2 chances that someone will take care of me. My daughters.
Like maybe they'll have enough pressure to like not let you fall too far. They'll be like, we got to go get mom. Yeah. You don't think the boys are going to do it?
No. Not really. I mean, it's not like historically that's what happens typically.
I'm getting on a plane. Good luck.
Right. Yeah. No, my husband will take care of me, but like only till a point, like he's going to grow old with me too. We need somebody to like, want to take care of me. You got to get another
set of hands in here. Yeah.
Yeah. I need a younger generation. So I got to be real nice to my kids.
It's funny because I'm vexed here on the subject of, people looking things up when they don't know, because what do we say over and over again? Like you can only learn so much in nursing school. You can only learn so much in medical school. Going over high level about things, you're expecting a doctor to keep all that in their head forever and ever. It would be great if they had something to go to.
No. Yeah.
But it would be great if somebody took their education really seriously and then supplemented it with this thing that can pull up information for them very quickly. I don't want somebody pretending their way through medical school or through nursing school. Like that's scary.
I think the problem, like I don't think it's a problem to look stuff up. And I don't have a problem telling patients like, Hey, I don't know. I've never seen that before. Let me look that up. I have a problem when people act as if they know everything and they're scary. You know, that like false confidence from like, let me just like, I'll fake it till I make it.
Yeah.
That is what scares me.
Yeah, don't fake it while I'm in the bed here and I need your help. Like,
I'm just faking it my whole life. It's going fine for me. And you're like, maybe it's not fine for everybody else.
All right. Well, that's some good insight from you. Thank you very much. I genuinely appreciate you doing this and that you listen to the podcast so much. And, you know, I just can't say thank you enough. All this was terrific. And you were great on the show today.
Well, thank you. I tell everyone that's type 1 that I meet about it.
Thank you. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate that. Hold on 1 second for me. Okay.
Okay.
A huge thanks to my longest sponsor, Omnipod. Check out the Omnipod 5 now with my link, omnipod.com/juicebox. You may be eligible for a free starter kit, a free Omnipod 5 starter kit at my link. Go check it out, omnipod.com/juicebox. Terms and conditions apply. Full terms and conditions can be found at omnipod.com/juicebox. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast was sponsored by US Med. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. Get started today with US Med. Links in the show notes, links at juiceboxpodcast.com. Hey, thanks for listening all the way to the end. I really appreciate your loyalty and listenership. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. If you're looking for community around type 1 diabetes, check out the Juicebox Podcast private Facebook group, Juicebox Podcast, type 1 diabetes. But everybody is welcome. Type 1, type 2, gestational, loved ones, it doesn't matter to me. If you're impacted by diabetes and you're looking for support, comfort, or community, check out Juicebox Podcast, type 1 diabetes on Facebook. Check out my algorithm pumping series to help you make sense of automated insulin delivery systems like Omnipod 5, Loop, Medtronic 780G, twiist, Tandem Control IQ, and much more. Each episode will dive into the setup, features, and real-world usage tips that can transform your daily type 1 diabetes management. We cut through the jargon, share personal experiences, and show you how these algorithms can simplify and streamline your care. If you're curious about automated insulin pumping, go find the Algorithm Pumping series in the Juicebox Podcast. Easiest way, juiceboxpodcast.com, and go up into the menu. Click on series, and it'll be right there. The episode you just heard was professionally edited by Wrong Way Recording. wrongwayrecording.com.